All right, this is your stat sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is scenario 6 of the take-home test or take-home quiz. This is 2009 B, question 3. A French study was conducted in the 1990s to compare the effectiveness of using an instrument called a cardio pump with the effectiveness of using traditional CPR in saving lives of heart attack victims. Heart attack patients in participating studies were treated with either a cardio pump or CPR, depending on whether the individual's heart attack occurred on an even number day or an odd number day of the month. Before the start of the study, a coin was tossed to determine whether treatment. Gosh, this tells me we're using random assignment. The cardio pump or CPR was given to the even number days. The other treatment was given to the odd number days. In total, 754 patients were treated with a cardio pump and 37 survived at least 1 year, while 746 patients were treated with CPR and 15 survived at least 1 year. The conditions for inference are satisfied in the study, state and the conditions and how they are satisfied. All right. So basically, they said, hey, you know what? We're not going to have you run the test right away. We want you to state how the conditions were satisfied. Well, instead of me doing that, I went ahead and ran the test, but I should have done this separately. But here's the way it goes. Treatments were randomly assigned by flipping a coin. So that's our first condition. That's our random assignment. So first condition, random assignment, was assigned by flipping a coin. That took care of it. Because they were randomly assigned, I don't have to have the n is less than 10% condition. So I don't have to have that. But I do have to have that they're independent. It's reasonable to assume that one patient's reaction will not impact that of another. The samples are independent. So I have two independent samples. Then I need to make sure the samples are large enough. To do that, I have to do the p hat c. And when I do that, 37 and 754, 15 over 746 gives me a p hat c of 0.0347. So 754 times 0.0347 equals 26.16. That's greater than or equal to 10. 1 minus that, that's also greater than or equal to 10. When I multiply by 746, that's greater than 10. And 1 minus that is greater than or equal to 10. So both samples are large enough to use the normal approximation. And that is how we know that the conditions were met. So I should have done that in part A. I just incorporated it into the second part. Don't do that. You would not receive full credit. But I did that here just to speed this along. So they want me to run the test. Perform a statistical test to determine whether the survival rate for patients treated with a cardio pump is significantly higher than survival rate for those CPR. So in this case, P1 equals P2, and then P1 greater than P2. True population proportion of patients who survive using cardio pump, true population proportion of patients who survive using CPR. State the conditions. Well, if I've already done it in part A, I don't have to do it in part B, but I just need to say conditions were met, previously verified. So I need to show how I got P hat C. Remember, we cross out our formulas. All right. And then P hat 1 is 37 over 54. P hat 2 is 15 over 746. We cross this out and we cross that out. We plug into our formula. 0.049 minus 0.021. And then we plugged in our formula here using our P hat C and 1 minus that. Somehow know there's a 3 there. That is not correct. And we're going to cross that out just in case we have a typo. We previously named our test as a 2 proportion z-test because that's what we're running. Stat test 2 proportion z-test and 37, 754 and x2, 15, 746. We had a alternative of greater than. And I end up getting a p-value of 0.001. That's a pretty small p-value. Oh, make sure you always have your z. I forgot to say that. Make sure you always have your z. For some reason, this is not the same. All right. Our p-value is 0.0011. I'm going to rerun this real quickly. Sorry, guys. You're just going to have to hang on. Stat test. Two proportion z-test. 37. Is that correct? 37 out, 754, and 15 out. Okay, that all looks good. Yep, so this is a typo. This should have been 3.066. Make sure you always have your z-score. Try to have the right z-score equals 0.011. So that small of a p-value, it's going to be less than alpha, so our decision is to reject. Our p-value is 0.0011. We reject the null. There's sufficient evidence at alpha equal 0.05 to suggest the true population proportion survival rate of patients using the cardio pump is greater than the survival rate of patients who were given CPR. So we believe the cardio pump works better than CPR. All right. Feel sorry for the people that got the wrong day, thanks to the unlucky coin. Hope to see you on the next one. This is your Stats Sensei, Mr. Spensei.